As you recall in the previous training video, we learned how to turn the offline files feature on, which allows us to go ahead to any file on the network and right-click it and always make that file available offline. That way when the network's down, it's got a copy on our computer that we can still work on. The question I have is that when the network comes back up and we're reconnected, what's going to happen to any changes that we make offline? For example, this file I've made available offline. You can tell by the icon here, it's the green circle. And the answer is yes. If I make any changes offline and I reconnect to the network or the network gets back up and running, it'll take those changes and automatically update or sync up, the operative word being sync up to the file on the network. How does that happen? Well, working in tandem with the offline files feature is the Sync Center. In fact, you can see down below in the system tray, the Sync Center is running in the background. It's that green circle there. So any file that has this green icon, it's the Sync Center, meaning that not only is it available offline, but when I get back online or I reconnect to the network, it'll automatically make the updates for me. Which is nice because I would sure hate to make a lot of changes when I'm offline and then when I reconnect to the network, it not automatically update or save those changes to the same file on the network here. Now, in addition to syncing up and making those automatic update changes to the files on the network when you're offline, the Sync Center also allows you to sync data to other computers, PDAs, iPods through the USB port, for example. If you got some music that's on your iPod and you've got some music that's on your computer and the music that's on your computer doesn't match what's on your iPod, you can go ahead and plug it in, use the Sync Center to sync them up and be able to copy over those missing files from the iPod to the computer or computer to the iPod so you both have the same data here. Okay, so it syncs up, does automatic updates. Now the next question I have is, well, what if somebody else is working on the same file and makes changes and I make changes and we're both doing this offline? What happens when we go back online? You're going to have conflicts. Well, how do I resolve those conflicts? I got a good example for you. Let's pretend that this is my notebook here on my laptop and I'm going to take it with me. I'm going to disconnect from the network and go to Hawaii on vacation. And while I'm on vacation, I'm going to do a bad thing. I'm going to work. Now before I go ahead and disconnect from the network here, I'm going to click the sync button to sync up one more time to make sure I get all the latest updates and then unplug from the network or if I'm wireless, out of range to the network. But to simulate that, I'm going to go ahead and click on the command bar, the Work Offline button. Give it a second or two and then you can see all the files that I didn't make available on my computer when the computer is offline or not connected, except this one right here. So I take my computer, my laptop, and I go to Hawaii. A couple of days later, I decide to do some work. So I open up the file here and I say, well, for the sales of January, it wasn't $825. I did some work and it's actually, let's exaggerate here. Let's say it's $1, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and be sure to save my work. Let's say that I'm done. I close out. Now I'm off vacation. I'm back at the home office and I connect back to the network. So to simulate that, I'll just go ahead and click Work Online again. Give it a second or two and watch what happens to your Sync Center icon in the lower right. After it figures out that it's not matching exactly what the changes you made with the changes that somebody else made back at the home office, you're going to have conflicts. So when I hover over it, you can see it's got one conflict. Let's go ahead and click on it, open up the Sync Center and see what that conflict is. In the Sync Center, we've got the folders listed that are available with offline files. Then down below you have conflicts, your sync results, and sync setup. We want to take a look at the conflicts. In fact, you can see right here, it's got one conflict. Click on it, opens it up. It says, look, I'm having problems with your chart files that you worked on over the weekend or when you were at Hawaii. Go ahead and select it, and it tells you right here, click Resolve to view the details of each conflict and decide how to resolve them. So I click on Resolve, and it says you got three choices. You can either keep this version, which is my version, or I can keep the other person's version. And how do I know? Well, it says right here, on this computer versus the laptop, somebody else's computer. Or I can keep both of them. Now, if I keep my version, then any changes that the person made, or let's say it's Jane's computer here, will be overwritten by me. If I keep her version, then any changes that I made is overwritten by her. Or I can be stubborn and keep both. Let's say that I know Jane is more clear on what's going on here. Let's say I want to keep her version. Click on it. It resolves the conflict. Let me close out of here and let's take a look and see what happens when I open up the chart file here. Now I said it was $1. I'm now synced up and we've resolved the conflict and Jane said it was 50. Okay, so we go with her then. Now the other choice would be to keep both files, and what that does is it'll have the original file here but make a copy of that file and call it charts and then have a V1 for version 1. So then I have two files that have the charts with me, at $50 or with Jane at $50, and then Charts V1 with me at $1. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.